Good evening, folks. Retro coding time again. ZX Spectrum coding. We're listening to the Sega Mega Drive Toe Jam and Earl. Today's session, we're going to focus on 16-bit numbers. Of course, we need numbers bigger than 250, and that's the reason for that. So let's see what we can do. Yesterday we left it with something similar to that, but I have changed it a little bit. But there's a conundrum here, and I don't know how to fix it necessarily. I keep running into the same problem no matter what I try. So I'll show you now. So this will draw one flag. And it wants to flag in IX for some reason, and then it just pops it to HL. It should just be put in HL. But the problem we have, oops, I just didn't mean to close that. Oh, I just had a thought then. Maybe I've come up with a solution already just by looking at it, but basically I had to put the brackets around there. That was the problem. I was using the pointer, you know, the memory address, and then I was trying to use it like it was the value in here. But I couldn't like you can't just do that. For example, you can't just if IX was the pointer, you can't do that to get the data from it. And I still need to somehow get it into H and L. So I just started doing this here. And I was thinking I could maybe loop through here and just draw one flag at a time. Because this does another weird thing. Because what I'm doing here is just exiting out if H is too big, if H is not 0. And then also if L is more than or equal to flag start, yeah, the bottom of the screen. But here I've changed it to 24. And watch what happens. You'd think you'd just get one flag at 24. Hello VP, thank you for the follow. Glad to have you with me, mate. Hopefully we'll figure this problem out. Yeah, unfortunately it seems to... I've got to get to level 2 because level 1's pretty much okay now. Oh, so now it is working, yeah. So I'm getting just one flag there where I expect it to be. So the only real problem is, how are we going to iterate through a bunch of them? When we get to the call to draw it, it checks if it's in too high a position, or too low, I should say. And then it just ignores that flag. So we could just call it on every flag. Hiya, Geo. No, there's no street at all. That's the skiing. This is the ski slope. The street is almost complete now. I've turned off collision for the time being, if I remember right. But yeah, this is going to be a ski slope. That's a flag there at the top left for the minute. But I'm coming up with a way of using words for the flag positions, yeah? So I want to iterate through all these. I'm going to take one off all, like I'll take the speed off that every frame. I'm going to move every flag instead of the player. Yeah, but I am having troubles because normally when I iterate through an array, I use the pointer, not like the reverse of what I'm doing there, the opposite. So in other words, I just do that. But because of how I'm having to move it into HL to check, okay, mate, far away. I'm definitely not the Spikie expert, but even in mods. Can you learn programming in 6 months? Web programming? Well, if you put your mind to it, you probably can. You can make a good headway in 6 months. It depends how much you know already and how quickly you can absorb like the documentation. How are you supposed to read a tape? Wow. No problem, VP. I wish you the best of luck with that. Like, I guess I don't know that very much about web programming, but start with basic examples, of course, and see how you go. Join Stack Exchange, the website, as well, because that's an absolute gold mine of information. Utility to read a tape. Yeah, that's way beyond me. Do you mean like take a commercial tape file and turn it into something other than just noise? I think that School Kit disassembler does it, but I don't have a clue how to use it. Yeah, Stack Exchange. Oh, Some of the people there are absolute Jedis. Right. Let's see if we can figure this stuff out. Because we're very close to having this working. And once this works, it's trivial to add like as many flags as we want, really. Something's telling me I should be using HL and just, I don't even need IX. For example, I could do that. Let's try to simplify. So now all I've got to do is find a way of like, this is the tricky bit. HL is now loaded with the data inside the first flag. So if I increment it, it's just going to move the flag, that data up by 1. But what I really want is to get the address. Perhaps if I, for now that does nothing different, obviously. But in a minute, I'm going to load the pointer. But let's just make sure it works. Multi-scroll. Okay. I must admit, I'm a complete novice with like loading things on a real Spectrum or even on the emulators of Spectrums. I struggle even loading 128k games and stuff. Yeah, they'll most certainly know. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Yeah, I'm a novice still, basically. All right, so we should still see that flag, and that's just simplified that a little bit. There we go. So we are actually using a 16-bit number already, but we just don't know how to iterate through them just yet. Because of course, what I'd love to do is like load IX with the flag Y positions pointer, and then I'd just be I'd like to just do that, you know, that would be perfect, and then I can just easily increment that and call the same loop again. But I'm pretty sure that doesn't work. Yeah. Have you got, going to your question, Gio, have you got an end in your code? Because I think that was the first thing that stopped me when I put that end entry point. Like, I'm sure you have, but like I have an org and an end at the very end. Maybe that'll help. How does that work? Would that work? No, so you can't even do that. And that was why I had that push pop thing where I went push IX but pop HL. Yeah, that's like the equivalent of doing that. But then I still end up with the pointer. It's pointless. Oh, can't use a mouse anymore. Oh, okay. I got confused where you said you played the demo, but you loaded the actual code causes a loop. Does sound confusing. Oh, it's so damn close, this. Like I say, that will work. We'll get one flag, but how can I set up a loop to go through the flags? What's it called? I'll try and have a look at it if it's available easily online. I'll take a look and see if I understand it. Right, so it works. We get the one flag. It's real tricky. Instead of this direct call to that bit of data, I need to somehow use a pointer. Just called multi-scroll. Okay, I'll check it out. Multi-scroll spectrum computing. See, it's available on GitHub as well, it looks like. I'm just clicking that. Did you get the code from GitHub or did you get it from this other source? 10-year-olds paid £3. Can you use it? It says you will need the following tools to build the demo.tzx, Pasmo assembler, APAC compressor, build TZX utility. Obviously, I expect you've already read that. Take from World of Spectrum, yeah? Have you read the bottom of this page? Because I think it's the same thing, but on GitHub. And it just says something you'll need. I'm not even sure if that is the same thing, but it says ZX multi-scroll demo. Not at all as fascinating sound. Maybe it's a starting point at least for you, isn't it? Because there's some little instructions at the bottom. It says there's a demo file to run. I'll certainly try and knock that together as well, actually. It's something to do, isn't it? That might work instead of my usual stuff that never works. if it looks cool, it's worth doing. I take it you're talking about scrolling Y, aren't you, on that? That's where you're interested, I guess. Because the X seems quite easy to scroll. Well, as long as you only want to scroll up to 255 bytes across. Oh, this is so close, and I'm sure like any experienced guys would look at this and just be laughing their head off, thinking, "Why don't you just write this one line here and do that?" You know. I want to be able to increment the address of that. Oh, okay. Let's give it a little whirl. I'll download it from the GitHub. See if it's the same thing. I'm sure it is. I just put it in the folder, so it's going to appear on my GitHub now. This. Hopefully that's not a problem. In fact, let's move that. I'll just move it to another folder where. Okay. Oh, the one you're using is by Alan Davis. Okay, that doesn't sound like the same one then. This is Javier Pena. Oh, in the notes it says this is an example of the engine using Jonathan Joffa Smith's technique. It's probably not even the same thing then. That's a shame. Let's have a look at that tape file then. Multi-scroll Alan Davis. Okay, I downloaded the tap file and the instructions. This is what I've ended up finding. Is it all in one assembly file? The one with Moz. Okay. I mean, mine says by Alan Davis as well. That's quite funny. I haven't even read the instructions yet, but I'm just putting it all in a folder. There we go. Right. Multi-scroll by Alan Davis, so hopefully this is the right thing. Let's have a look. I bet it doesn't like the tap bass if it hasn't got an end. What's all this? See, I don't think the numbers are meant to be there or anything. This is like the output, isn't it, or something? It's interesting though, being able to see. I mean, it's commented. Yeah, how is it commented? Because it looks like some sort of weird output from a machine, doesn't it? I don't think this will compile in Pasmo. Oops. Oh yeah, that's not even commented up there. What the hell? I have to read then. I didn't have that file source code in multiscreen.tab. He's not gonna, is he? Block delete them and then it'll work, will it? I thought, see, in Visual Studio you can hold Alt and just go down like that. But there's some other way of doing it in this, isn't there? Whoa. There we go. Shift Alt. Is it really that easy? Oh god. What's it doing it? Alright, I get that. Ah, I think I'd already mess it up. Yeah. That's dumb. Why do they like deviate? Yeah, right. Good point. Probably won't work, but it's worth it. It won't take that long to try this. Oh, I'm probably doing it wrong, but this could use some improvement if this is the only way it can do it. I'm sure Visual Studio does this better. Lucky it's not a huge program. I don't imagine. I can't really imagine why it's like this, to be honest. It's never going to work, is it? I'll be flabbergasted if it works. Wait, is that a command or that's a label, is it? Yeah, I think like every time I've had to do this, it's been better on whatever other apps I was using than this. But I'm nearly done now. It just keeps coming. Oh, I don't know anymore. Yeah, I probably need to get back into Notepad++. Just get the right plugins for it. Hopefully I didn't miss one there. Can goof out, there we go. Just intrigued to see what this thing looks like now more than anything. Was this like some other compiler where you used to have to do this numbers or something then. Wait. Let's try it. 4 o'clock is drink time. What's up, Microman? Metapad. Have to look at that one. Okay. Yeah, I'll check that one out. Straight away, this thing. We wonder what the hell they were for. It's compiled. Moment of truth. No. This is probably just my superstition, but I'll try just calling it entry point like I always do. If that works, I'll be amazed. I can't see that working for a second. No. How do you do randomize on this keyboard? I don't know what I'm doing with the Spectrum. I really don't. When it gives an error, I haven't got a clue what it means. Not even the most basic errors. I mean, it compiled. No. These things here, what the hell were they? Oh well, I'll never know anything. This was some sort of output, wasn't it? Wasn't the actual source code. That's what I get a bit boggled by. Is it expecting a basic? Isn't that what tap bass does? Tap bass? That might be what it is, Geo. Because you don't get that from the source code, do you? And in the instructions, it says the source code is in the .tap, ZZip, 7-zip. But if you look in there's only a tap file. So it's almost like he's called that the source file, and then this is like a disassembly of that or something. This is where, I'm completely guessing. I have no clue. It was weird that it had all them numbers there though. Why would they be there? And then this thing is even more suspicious. Oh well, that's another thing for my brain to try and deal with another day. Because it's annoying to let things like that beat you, isn't it? Oh, I've just opened it again. I'll try and get some functioning stuff in Spikie. Because I've made some good headway on that. It's easy to derail my mind, man. Any old comment. One comment is all it takes. Yeah, I've made some good headway in my mind here of how to use these 16-bit numbers. But the one last bit of the puzzle for me is this incrementing through a bunch of them. I get that I probably have to increment HL twice to go through 2 bytes forward. But what I don't get, or maybe I wouldn't have to, maybe it'd only be once, but it's really tricky. Just generates the loader. Okay, is that not all that's necessary then? Gravity. Is gravity even real? Who knows? Any ideas, anyone? How could I get to the next flag? Normally it's so easy, I'd just have that like that, and then in KHL, I mean, if I was to use a pointer, then somehow in here, I need to get the value from the pointer. Just checking that Z80 Heaven again. I want to see if I can load any of them with value. Whew. So I can load them with variables, but I can't load them with the value that's in another register. Okay, Moz. It's funny how I can have such little knowledge of how the machine itself really works, still create a game. Just hacking my way through it. so close here, man. No, I doubt it is. He looks like he knows what he's on about. It's just when we're beginners like us, it's not so helpful when it's just a file that doesn't work straight out of the bat, and it's like, oh, okay, what do we do now? The best way I like to learn is to start super duper basic and just build on top of that until you can't build anymore because it falls down. But it is a frustrating way of learning as well because you never get to the end of any project, do you? You can't plan it in advance. So right now, the HL equals that, yeah, but there's got to be a way of just having it. There's got to be a way, man. It's a real struggle. Pretty sure you can't do that. The only way I can think of doing it right now, and it can't be the best way, is to have another word set up in memory. Current flag. Why, I guess. Because it's doing this. This cannot be the best way of doing it, but it's the only way I can think of. First I'll check if this works. I'm sure it won't though. No, see DE found. So the only way I can think to do this is load current flag DE. Problem is, I use DE, so I'll have to push and pop it somehow. If I'm gonna, well, let's just use IX instead. Maybe that'll work. Although, let me look at my thing a sec. Right, it might work. Yeah, Spikie's returned. That other code was just boggling me. I didn't know what it was even trying to. I couldn't get my head into it. I was also thinking about this problem at the same time. If this works, this kind of solves the problem. I then just need to go. Does inc ix? Let's do it twice. I think it's twice. So we need to just find a way out of the loop now. Oh, we can't even use the A, can we? Because it's a 16-bit number. I just wanted to check if it was over a certain amount. That's a right hassle. We have to do that OR A thing to reset the carry. And use a bunch of registers up. Wait. I just wonder. Can I use B and just tell it how many there are? I'll have to push and pop it there, but let's just do that for now. So I'll just load B with num flags. I'll create that now. Okay, B equals num flags. IX is the pointer to the first flag. Put it into current flag. Use current flag. Draw it. Increment IX. Go back. This looks like it should work. Oh. Alright, come on. I guess I'm going to only still see one flag. But if we do, I'm pretty happy. Oh, I can't even get over. I didn't get the skis. I can't get the skis. Whoa. And now the skis appear. What the hell's going on? See, the reason I'm mega confused there is I was only changing stuff in level 2, and none of that should have got called in first level. What could I have changed? I mean, before I get too confused, let's just try commenting out all that. It's probably one of them push pops or something I've just done. Just messed it up. I've like loaded a register when it shouldn't be loaded. So it's working perfectly now. Of course, no flag. Shop was closed. He didn't have a mask. They didn't let him in. They didn't believe him about his breathing difficulties. He's got spiky hair. That seems to work perfectly now. Oh, we're still not calling it. I thought we were. Okay, so at least this seems to work fine, this level. I can't imagine why it was bugging out. Still no flag. So obviously only one of them flags should be visible. This was too big. But when we call draw, it checks that. Current flag gets set to whatever's in there, supposedly. My intuition is just telling me it's this bit here that's breaking it. Just out of interest here. That might work. This might work, you never know. Get over there, Spikie. Come on, let's see his flag. No, no dice. And all the colours bugging out now for whatever reason. Something's not right here. Whoops. Didn't mean to click all this. I just thought, where I'd done that trick I got taught yesterday by Spec Chum, about the disable and interrupt during this game window buffering push pop session. I should probably do that with the colour when I paint the colours as well. Oh god. Yeah, so I wrap it all with pushes and pops and that, and it made it work beautifully. Of course I want to hear a joke, man. I don't know who Rodney Dangerfield is, but I'm sure it's good. It's a good one. Funny how you thought of that joke while lying in bed in the morning. You should have told the wife the joke. That's good. I'm getting sidetracked again here. I forgotten what function I was working on. Oh yeah, level 2. Ugh. I mean, as a test, I could probably try that here as well, couldn't I? Push all of them. Did it way. Oh. The only reason I'm doing this is to see if it helps with that colour thing that where it was flashing the colours in level 2. I worry that it's something to do with this flags loop thing. I highly doubt it'll work, but I just wanted to know if it did or not. Nothing. Oh, of course. Again, I'm just putting the pointer into there. That's no good. That might be though. If you can even do that, I don't know if you can. Nah. Oh, seriously annoying, isn't it? I'm completely stuck again. That sounds good, Micro Man. That's quite a good plan, isn't it? I wonder though, does calling actually use like any of the registers to call in return, or does it not? I have to find out of this. If these were just 8-bit numbers, that would work, wouldn't it? It's something to do with it being a 16-bit number that's doing this all. I'm going to get rid of current flag because I didn't want. That was just the idea to try and get it working. Okay, let me tidy this up a sec because I've deleted that. Let me show you it's raw. Working code, right? So I'm loading HL 16-bit register with the first flag. So it happens to be 24, but it's a word. That's the crucial bit. It's a word, not a byte. Calls draw flag, which wants HL to be the flag. So that will work, and we'll see a flag there. in the right position. And there it is. But how do I get to the next flag? So I could move that down there, for example. I can have num flags. And I can even do that. Now it will return. Better return. It will return after doing 4 flags. And it won't draw the 2 high flags because of that. The thing is, it's going to draw the same flag 4 times. That's the problem, see? So I'm trying to load HL with the flag, then increment the actual address to the next one down. If I increment HL, it just seems to put that value up. Let's just try that and I'll show you what I mean. That's not going to do anything. But earlier I had IX and HL and I incremented one of them and I just ended up with the same one getting drawn loads of times down the screen. This is probably going to be exactly the same. Probably does nothing, that ink. Yeah. Because we just load it to the flag again there. That's the problem. And like I said, what would be lovely is to be able to go load IX, flags. That would be so good. But it won't let me compile that. Oh, what? It compiled. Oh, I didn't save it, that's why. Yeah, it's an error. But that would be perfect. Well, in fact, it'd be up there. I've got it. I need something like this might work. I'll have to put brackets around them. I hope it lets me do that. Right, now let's try putting one at 48 and then the other one too high. We'll have like 2. Yeah, let's just have it at 400. No, at 800. We may have to increment that twice as well. I think we will. Let's go for it. So this will be interesting. Do we get 1 flag? No flags? Does it even compile? No, it doesn't. Line 32. So unfortunately we can't put them brackets around there. So this is probably not going to bloody work, but we'll see. Maybe it does. I knew it would compile. But no flags. So I guess what's happening is it's getting the memory address. It's getting the address rather than the value 24. We're getting like 3, 6, 5, 1, whatever, you know. That's what's happening there. That's why I tried to put the brackets around this. Basically, I've just been struggling with different formats of the same problem over and over again now. That won't compile. No. Jeez, there's just no way around it. What are you supposed to do in this scenario? There must be a way. Look. That is correct, yes. But many of them are too big to fit on the screen. But a check here will only draw the ones that are. I've had a weird thought. That might work. It's confusing as hell, and there's probably better ways of doing it, but that might work. Hey, Spec, Chum. I'm trying to. I've loaded draw flag with HL, and it's a word, yeah. But I wanted to make it so I can iterate through a bunch of words. $14 users. That would be amazing if there is. I think it is only 4. Not complaining though, 4 is better than 3. This might actually work, weirdly enough. The only thing I might have to switch these two around. 10 bots, chuck them in. If anyone knows how to bot. Let me just try and compile this, and if not, I'll take it back to where I was a second ago, and you'll understand what I mean then. Yeah, so that's crud again. Right, so let's have that as that. In fact, put it down here. Get rid of num flags. That won't draw anything, yeah, because it seems to get the address. It's not the data. So to get it to draw the flag, I had to do that. Position is a word, even though it's only 24. This all checks out. I've tested it and it seems to work. And annoyingly, we have to then run through the level, but you'll see the flag there at 24. There it is. My problem is, whenever I've dealt with an array of values, I've always had, I mean, most of the time I use IX, but I think that's irrelevant. But I always use the pointer. And then I can just increment HL, you know, for a loop. But I don't know how to do that now. So I've tried many variations, like with, for example, I put load IX flag, and then I try, you know, for example, I'd love to be able to go like that, but that's definitely not possible. I even tried making a cache that caches it. Another register with HL. Yes, with the HL data, yeah. Like we can use IX, it's completely available. Okay, change it back to HL then. Hang on. Okay. Because it wants HL, the actual thing wants it in HL. I could change that to D&E though. I'm with you, yeah, I get that bit. Okay. So I'm trying to switch it around because I actually want to change the one you're using. I'm going to use IX. I hope that probably doesn't work, does it? And then I'm going to change D&E for H and L. Should be fine. Okay, thank you. That's actually similar to where I was just arriving to. I was just coming up with this sort of idea when you arrived, actually, funny enough. Funny enough, is H and L reversed or not? Maybe I need to do this the other way around. Let's see it though. That's funny. That is actually the way I was just sort of arriving on that in my head. Yeah, you can't do that for some reason, can you? Oh, maybe I can. Hang on. So of course H and L I'm using, not D and E, because it wants to check. I use it to check some values before putting it into D and E. One of those 16 registers isn't reversed, is it? I think it's the HL. That's brilliant. Except for where's the second flag, because we're not looping. But that's brilliant. You've solved it again in seconds, I think, there, Chum. They all are. Okay, thank you. I don't know where I read that one of them wasn't. Yeah, I get what you mean. Oh, that's fantastic. Do you know what? I'm actually pleased with myself because I was getting quite near to that after all the trial and error I've done. That was going to be one of the things I was edging towards just then when you got it. So now I'll put it back to DJNZ again. PC pushed on the stack. program counter. Yeah, I get you. It's like a flag byte. It's a special case, isn't it? Oh, what good news though. Can only say thank you again. Let's try it out with the loop. Okay. Cool, you're super knowledgeable, man. Very good for you. It compiled. I want to see 2 flags. Come on. Oh, just 1. Oh, I didn't increment. Do I want to increment IX twice? I think I do. Little Endian, that's it. I remember that from my days of NES ROM. Big Endian and Little Endian. Oh, have a good night, Gio. Get that pizza. Oh, Spectrum, you've just saved me hours of putting different values in, messing around with like coming up with the same answer over in a different way. And there we go. 2 flaggies. I don't actually like having to have a constant for the number of flags. I'd rather come up with a way of just knowing what the last flag is, for example, and checking, is it that value? But I think in this case with the 2 bytes, it's more hassle and it's better just, I mean, there's only 1 skiing level and it has the same number of flags every time. So I'm going to just stick with this. I mean, for now, I'll just put 10 because I don't want to make a whole bunch. And the first one's going to be there. In fact, just like I had before, it's great. Just bung them in anywhere for now. Being lazy. Of course, that'd be really unfair if they're not all on the same X, and if they are, it'd be too easy. So they're not going to stay like this. But for now, I'm going to come up with a way of scrolling them, and I was going to move the player, and I had that routine set up here to do that. Oh, daughter's birthday today. Happy birthday. Okay, Micro, no worries. Hope you enjoy that. It sounds good fun. Yeah, like I say, I think the better way would be to move the player, and then every time you draw a flag, you just deduct the player's position from that. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to move every flag, every frame. But of course, it gets funny because you're moving flags in conjunction with the player's input. So I think I'll actually put this in player level 2. I'll prefix it with player as well, so it gets a bit odd, but I'm going to call it that and just move the flags in there. That's a good one, Spec. That's quick. I can't thank you enough there, Spec Chum. I would have been there for hours before I arrived on that. And it probably would have been like another 20 lines of code on top of it somewhere that didn't need to be there. And I'm sure this is not the very best way of doing this either, but I'm going to move all the trees and all the flags in the player level 2 move function. So let's get about that. The first thing I want to do, if a flag is, well, we'll have a kill flag. Wait there. If it gets to 0, we just stop updating it. Because I'm going to reduce these every frame. Well, every time we move down. Oh, it's tricky though. I guess we could do the use the num flags again. I guess pretty much the same as how we draw it. How would I decrease it? Of course, 16-bit numbers are fun. They're a brain teaser. Here, didn't you write that? There's no need, is there? Yeah. It worked though, didn't it? How weird's that? I think luckily that just does nothing, doesn't it? Because it just changed the address of HL. Oh, God, what have I done here? Yeah, that wasn't it? So that should be all good still. I can't test it right now with all this weird stuff I've done. Or maybe I can. Oops. Look at it. That's too high. It should be much lower. Oh, that's 6. Oh, it's not meant to be gap. So it's meant to be set down the bottom now, the flag. I'm sure it will be. Yeah. Perfect. Good catch, well done. Thank you for that as well. This is the next bit of fun. Decreasing the value in there. So once again, we can use that trick to start us off, can't we? Just pop it into H and L. 12 going on 30. I think they're all like that now, aren't they? Does that work? Okay, that's amazing. Deck IX, Ink IX. Notice the pronunciation difference. Is that really going to move already? No, because I haven't even called move. Oh, I can't type. Just double check I do call that. Yeah, it will. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Spec. My reference is really good, except for the load one. It's so like hard to understand because it's got the brackets. It does get a little bit confusing for me, that still. But not with you around, it's a massive help. Where was I? Here. I think that might work. I mean, of course, we need to change it by the speed, so we can't just do that. But it'd be interesting to see if that works. Oh, hello, Radar. Fragrance of dark coffee. Nice to meet you, my man. Coffee raid. Sick. Good man, good man. We're getting some massive help from Spec Chum here. And look at that, we've got moving flags. I haven't got any check to see if it gets to the top, so it's going to break. I'm going to stop it before it does. It's pointless watching that. The next thing I need to do is, well, sadly that's simple, but we need to do it, decrease it by speed. Exactly, Spec. Oh, thank you for the follow as well, mate. I'll be sure to check out your stream as soon as I can. Yeah, let's pretend that Deck IX is fine for the minute. I just want to stop when they get to the top of the screen. I want to figure out the best way of doing that. Like, they don't have any like is alive byte or anything. I'm just going to have to check it gets to 0 and then stop drawing it if it is. So I guess the first thing I want to do is check if it's 0 here and return. And yeah, just do the same thing on the move function. it only gets difficult because it's a word every time, so I've got to check if they're both 0, haven't I?
Winning.
I love that one. Wait. Oh, 'cause it already works there, though. It's checking for H being 0. It's returning if it's not 0, though, yeah. And it returns if it's more than. That might work. Do you know why it won't work, though? It will work nearly all the time. But if H is not 0 and this is 0, I guess that'll be alright. We'll just get one flicker. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it gets to the top and just vanishes then instead of crashing the game. Yeah, it will crash the game. Actually, no, it might not crash the game, but it'll still exist and it'll still be getting decreased. It'll probably reappear at the bottom of the screen eventually. Wait. So the logic works, it just needs a bit of fine tuning. That's good. I think that's the next one. Or is it back already? That's interesting that it comes back so quick. I think I was just seeing them. You know, it was a coincidence, I think. Cool, we certainly are winning though. We made quite a bit of progress already. I can't reuse that exactly in my other code for the movement because I still want to move the ones that are off the screen so that they've got a higher number. But if it's 0, I do. This could, you never know, Spectrum. You may be able to come out with an easy answer on this as well. But how would I do like 2 compares in a row that are linked without a massive web of labels? So if I wanted to do load H IX compare 0 and load L IX plus 1, and if both of them are 0, return. I'm comparing. I want to know if the contents of that value is 0. So like the high and low are both 0. I could do it by making some labels right now, but I feel like there's got to be a better way. I'll leave it still for a second just in case you're trying to see exactly what I've done. I need to roll a smoke anyway quickly. Some moment later. Here's a question for you. What cartoon is that out of? Is it easy, Spec? Oh, you are a legend. So I take it you're starting code here, yeah? That's amazing, man. Oh, you're so clever. So basically, I can just have one label here. I'll name it the same thing, but with go next. That's just my little format that I've got for myself. Jump Z, sorry. Go next. Yeah, there we go. And then obviously we'll replace this with a, move by speed instead to do. Yeah, I get you. That's amazing, man. I was gonna say I'll put this somewhere, but I've actually got this video to fall back on. I can just find it if we ever get stuck again. Quick check for 16-bit reg. Yeah, that is a good trick. I'm gonna have a look at it in a sec. I'm just gonna make sure I haven't left any of my stupid code behind. I think I have there, haven't I? It's literally that. So it loads the accumulator with the first, like the higher bit, ors with the second byte. Yeah, but don't get me wrong, Specky. It's lifesaver having you around, man. You're saving me like weeks. I'm not joking. Saving me weeks of struggling in the last couple of days. And I do understand 90% of what you've shown me. Like this one, I'd have to go and study or figure out exactly. But this is what I love about assembly language. You can do all this clever stuff. It's so good. Unbelievably, I think that's ready to roll. So now we should get just 10 flags appear. Can I speed them up by just doing def more than once? I think I can, yeah. Let's just do like 8 then. I can get by with 6, 5, 10. Oh yeah, fair enough, Micro. See, I'm naive still. I'm hoping that most of the stuff I learn here I'll be able to bring across to me to other processors. But maybe I'm completely wrong. I don't know yet. But I definitely want to find out within the next year. Like we're going to do some other systems. 3. Something I've done wrong then. I expected to see more flags. That proves that bit we've just done was working, because it seemed to kill them correctly. So it's not even that big a number, that, really. $400 was the biggest. You sub if I can. Okay, I'll look at that in a sec. I was just going to change these just in case, because I did have one time where it didn't like all my maths like that. Sub A speed. Ideal. The only thing is, with no worries, Spikie. Yeah, the only problem I've got with that is I need more than one constant for speed, because you can go like diagonal and you can turn like fully, and it slows you right down. So I need to come up with some little way of doing that. But I guess maybe just 3 constants would do it, wouldn't it? Like full speed, medium speed, slow speed. I can't be bothered to do that. So let's have 5 flags. I'll leave that one at 176. I want this one like a whole screen away. Well, just do times 2, innit? That's the way I've written this code. They have to go up in order, these. And can you do stuff like that? It does cock up the compiler sometimes when you do that. Right, that'll do. Let's see if we get 5 out in that kind of order. I see. I done that vector thing you're talking about with one of the other games. I did do that, so I know exactly what you mean by that. And I did successfully manage it after some trouble. It's days like this. It's just crucial learning, but sometimes you have to repeat tasks and forget things, learn them again. So I would have expected to see the other flag by now. We've got a problem with flags that are too big right now. Or maybe it is with these stupid brackets. We had it in the double buffering routine where it didn't like some brackets. It's weird, man. It really is the key to memorization, that. Especially for me. I've not got the greatest short-term memory. But eventually stuff goes in. Stays there. I'm a bit worried here that something's broken. Let's just try. try that. Okay. I think it was the brackets, you know. I really do. Let's do 10 of them. This just reminds me of the double buffering routine when I had to do the same thing as this, but on a much bigger scale. So do we see 5 in a minute? It should have been here by now. You wrote some of it, did you? Wow, man. I definitely can take your word for that then. I've got SJSM on my path right now, but I only know how to do it making that stupid make tap file and deleting the end thing. Awesome. It sounds like you're literally a powerhouse in the Spectrum scene, to be honest, mate. Or if you're not, you're well on the way to being one. Have you ever had a commercial game released? Or even not a commercial, like a homebrew? Or do you just do the applications mainly? I wonder why though. It doesn't like them if they go too high. There was that bug I identified about when it hit 0 on the lower byte, but that shouldn't matter. Okay, cool, Specky. I remember someone showing me a game on Steam. I can't remember if it was you or one of your friends, but that looked pretty decent as well. I wonder if it is that problem I just said. The move. I'll change that in a minute to the sub thing that you said. Yeah, because you don't even put sub A in this compiler, do you? You just put sub. Because I get caught out with that every time. I'll try sub A though, just in case. Easy to change, isn't it? Speed. Just put player speed Y for now. To do, change it. Isn't that going to change just the upper byte? Yeah, sub A gives a compiler error on Pasmo. I don't know why. Line 41, see? Stupid. The amount of times I've imported someone else's code and had to remove all the A's from the subs. It's like the first thing when I used to be first learning how, I was just getting projects off the internet and looking at them, you know. We're making huge progress here though. As Pasmo anything goes. I will learn more about compiling in SJS, but not right now. Oh, I've actually got the make tap thing here. So I can compile with that. Oh, errors. Oh, it's looking for Bazinga or something. Nah, screw it. Well, I probably won't have much longer left on the video. Probably cut it, well, I say cut it short. I'll cut it off quite soon. 2 hours tends to be my limit, especially after work. I've got a day off tomorrow though. I'm going to put in loads of hours. It seems to me there's some problem now with the flags that are higher than a certain value to start off. They never appear. And I would have expected them just to appear eventually. But other than that, wow, we've made strides here. And I've learned quite a bit about how, and I've also got a template of how to use the higher and low bits, because I was getting confused thinking some were reversed and some weren't and all that sort of thing. I didn't even know you could do what you've done here. Wow. Because I was just trying to do load HL with IX and loads of variations of that. But now I get it. I get it completely. It's an 8-bit bit and then it just gets the next bit, next byte. The flag's positions are 16-bit because I want to have the values in the thousands for the position. I want to basically lay out the whole level in flags there. So there'd be about 30 flags or 20. But the biggest one would be about 10 screens down, do you know what I mean? Like 2,500. Or 2,000 or whatever, you know. I haven't thought that far ahead, but it'll be a long way down. What is HighSoft Dev Pack? Oh, Pasmo, the thing that Pasmo replaced. I mean, I'm still at a stage where as long as it compiles, I'm happy with my compiler. So you need to use HL. Then you can use 16-bit add or SBC. Okay, thank you. So we'll try for it before we finish. Yeah, I bet Moz. I've forgotten what I needed to do the ad for now. Because basically, I'm trying to reduce all these until they're at a point where the draw code will draw them. HL is faster. Okay, thank you. It's really nice being able to do IX +1 though, isn't it? And it seems to run pretty, like they're moving pretty fast. Then it's a very basic level. There's going to be some trees, but that's about it. Collision on the trees, and there will be like collision detection on the flags as well. Obviously, the collision will be to the right of it, and it'll be a trigger, like to say whether you go through the flags or not. My mind is completely a blank because I've forgotten what I was actually trying to do. I think I'm just worried about these flags that aren't showing up. Just out of interest then, let's try 128 for that one. In fact, let's do 32. Oh no, that's going to be smaller than that. Oh. So do we get 6 now? No. It's like 5's the limit. If I put 5, if I hard coded 5 in there somewhere. We should eventually see all 5 of them, according to what I think the code is doing. Not ordered another one either. I looked up Next, funnily enough, on eBay today, and the cheapest one was 500 quid for second-hand Next. I mean, there are emulators out there, aren't there? I don't know what they're like. There's number 1. So it's something to do with if they're like over 200 and something. Yeah, I knew there was a new Kickstarter, but I can't afford it, man. I'd like to, but I don't even have the space really to have anything like that. The next thing I do need to buy is a PC eventually, because this one's garbage. That's it. It's one of them things. If I was really rich and I owned a house and everything, then I'd probably start buying things like that, because it would be lovely. And they do look like a decent build quality. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they're ripping. It's a shame there's not like a budget version of it. It has crap build quality. Fair enough. Thinking ahead. Yeah, like I say, the cheapest one I saw was 499, and I think that was like a bid one. Yeah. On the other hand, I saw a lot of 48Ks on there for under 70 quid with accessories and that. I saw one that had about 6 books, 2 joysticks, a joystick adapter, everything, and it was 70 odd quid. But I thought the exact same thing as you, Spec, so I thought I would probably never use it, so I'm not going to buy it because I haven't really got room for a box, let alone unpacking the thing. Oh, ooh, that's got to be a project for some clever git to produce a very cheap version of the Next, because the Next has a really nice case. I mean, it's not worth 200 quid surely to have 2 megabyte of RAM or whatever it is. Surely in China they could probably make something like that for like a fiver. Not that I know what I'm talking about, but you know what they're like. They can normally reproduce things pretty cheap. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. It's too much money. The Next, really, for me. I mean, it's more than a PlayStation 5 or whatever, isn't it? You know, not that I would ever buy that because I wouldn't buy the games. I want to be able to crack. I want to play crack games on a thing if I'm going to buy it. An Amiga would be great. I'd love a souped up Amiga. They should have Amiga Next. 3 grand for an Amiga Next. That's brilliant. I mean, I wouldn't even know what I'm looking at the core of a system like that. It must be amazing the next core because it doesn't it like have modes so it'll run like exactly like the old hardware. Yeah, I use emulators. Specky laptop. That sounds pretty cool. So you open it up and it's got a basic screen. That's awesome. So did the Next need to actually seek rights from Sinclair or Amstrad or any company that's purchased anything down the line from them when they went under? You've got to buy it for your children, fair enough, Mod. That's what you call a good dad, innit? You the latest console. Yeah, I mean, it does sound like a very clever piece of hardware. And it looks like it's a really well built piece of hardware as well. Sky owns it and they did have to buy it. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Because I just don't have time to read these things. You know, I'm interested in them, but I only ever end up reading the headlines and first paragraphs of things. I'm not that well in the know. That's brilliant, that. I'm loving this chat as well. But sadly, I'm not going to be able to get any coding done because I've identified the problem seems it's nothing to do with the. We could have loads of them if they fall under that. You know. Uh, so some of them are going to be overlapping. We'll only see 6 now. Let's see if we can get 7 to show up. Next was designed by the late Rick Dickinson. Yeah, that is a nice touch. Look, we're getting this issue again where it's not setting the skis, even though I've changed nothing to do with level 1. And now it sets. Oh, we've got 7. So, yes, it's something to do with having a big number here. It doesn't like it. But I'm going to have to figure that out tomorrow. That 128k Spikie was my first ever computer, and I had it for years. Well, I say I had it for years. I went through about 3 of them actually, because I did used to break the tape deck, and we were so thick we didn't realise you could just either repair it or plug another one in. This is exciting stuff though. There's always has to be one little problem that holds me back, because if this hadn't been a problem, I would have ended up laying all the flags out and putting them in the right position before we finished the level, finished the video. Still got a +2. I had a +2, the very last of the 3 Spectrums I had. Do you remember the shop Tandy? It was like going out of business, and we got one really cheap. I think it was a +2. Had a cassette, it wasn't a disc, but it said like data recorder on it and all that. It was right near the end of the 80s, I think. Yeah, it is nice. It's a very weird product if you actually think about it. Like with emulators being around way before the machine was dreamt up, and then the fact that it's only going to run a niche few games. But yeah, it's a shame. When you're older, you might have time, like more time, once your children have moved out and that sort of thing. You might suddenly get well into it then. Because like the older generation from us got like, some people got like model train sets, or they were building ships in bottles, or learning to play the piano or something. But we're just all on Spectrums and Amigas and NESes. Wow. Yeah, it's great. Do you know, I've had a lot of people, when I was first doing my assembly sessions, people were writing to me all the time saying, "Are you going to do next?" It was one, like, when I say all the time, it wasn't all the time, but almost all the messages I got were saying, "Should do next." British Steel. 3 days to go. It would be great to get a game out right before, right ready for the launch, like in the first month of its launch. But I looked at the development workflow of that one time, and I got too confused. There was too many new things. Why don't you try that, Moz? I really think you should try that. Buy 3 of them. And hold on to them, just sell one. And then the next one. Become a scalper. Scalp life. I've noticed as well, Spec Chum, that next games are really hard to come by for free. Most of them, they want you to pay for it. Again, I haven't spent hours looking for them, but I was looking for some when I wanted to get the emulator. I wanted to try it on my channel. I'll try it on next session of games. You sold your pledge for the price you paid. Was that in the first run? I'll take it. Ah, well. You live and learn. I remember my mate did it with PlayStation, whatever it was, when he knew that the shops were going to run out like they did many years ago, And he sold 3 of them to his own mates for more money. First run, yeah. Yeah, I guess why not, Moz? I guess it was a good idea. I mean, are you guaranteed to make money doing that, do you reckon? Because you see these listings on eBay, but do they ever sell? I guess some people can afford it and just want to buy it. I'm all for trying to make money any way I can. If someone wanted to buy it, if I bought it for 300 or whatever it is, and then someone wanted to buy it for 900, I'd sell it in a heartbeat. Especially if I had more than one of them. Yeah, my brain's not equipped to pick through this right now. I need to convert this function, this routine, into the cleaner version that you made. No, I'm not against people selling games whatsoever. And in fact, the reason I mentioned that was I was talking about developing our own on the channel, and then I would normally give my game away, but if I made a next game, I could probably charge like $1.99, something like that. Yeah, you're a legend, man. You helped me a lot. I think I was on the track to getting it. You're right. I think I was just starting to do that ink in between. I just realised that it was like 2 8-bits, if you know what I mean, rather than trying to treat it as a 16-bit. But then you just came along. It's like having a tutor almost, just showed me the correct way, and then I was on my way. But I'm still puzzled here, very much so, because it'll show this one, which is off the screen. It moves that up, but these ones that are way higher, you never see them. So that's my next. Do you reckon it's just it runs out of time on the loop? Nah. because it just goes through them and decreases them by speed over and over again. So it should eventually come down to it being in the screen. That's part of the fun. Sort that out tomorrow. I am keen to try out a console that has better sprite capabilities, so I can get some sort of funny looking game that will really catch people's eye. So I'm keen to explore like more than one, maybe even Game Boy, you never know. But then that's similar to Spikie, where you're really limited on the sprite. Like, they can only do 2 colours. I think you're probably more limited on Game Boy, aren't you? Yeah, no, you were a lot of help as well, Moz, trust. As was Coda Mick and others. But yeah, Spec Chum, you've got like a knack for just immediately knowing what's wrong. I can remember when I was like that with C sharp, I could like debug things in C sharp really quick, and people used to ask me for help. Cheers, Specky. Yeah, you're a top guy. This is the sort of problem. When I go offline in just a few minutes now, I'll watch a bit of TV and I'll be just glancing over this over and over, and maybe I'll come up with the answer. But if not, hopefully, I don't want to spend too many days on it. So hopefully by tomorrow, after many, many hours, we'll figure out what that is. I mean, my first step is to just use just numbers for now. Find out what number it actually stops working at. MSX actually, yeah. Do you know what? That's a great suggestion, Moz, because lots of people are interested in that as well. Amstrad, I'm more interested in because I actually played on one of them when I was a kid. I never even saw an MSX or heard of them until quite recently. Yeah, I do love C64 as well, but I don't know. I hear a lot of people saying that that's quite hard. There's other difficulties with that. But yeah, MSX maybe I like that suggestion a lot. But I really want to I want to complete this game, so it's like a fully game that you might have got in the old days on a tape. I'm definitely thinking about Z8 Game Boy as well. Yeah. The only thing is, I want a game. Like I think Game Boy would get a lot of attention, so I am both of them suggestions, MSX and Game Boy. I'm well keen on. Also NES, but before NES, them two, and probably C64, like you said. The Game Boy, I guess there is also the Game Boy Color. Does that run on Z80? Oh, Sega Master System, yeah. Man, that's that. There's so many to try, isn't there? Wouldn't it be great to make this game and then port it to all them systems? Because this is quite a simple. I'm going to keep it as base and simple as I can. I think that's what I'm going to try and do. And then in the process, I'll learn all about porting. Because I don't know anything about porting, but I know like it obviously involves just converting these instructions to the ones that the other processor understands mainly. So I think that's what I'll do. Sam Coupe. See, I've heard of that. That's another one that I don't know anything about. Isn't that something to do with the Spectrum? I'll have to look that up. I did look it up once upon a time. Same CPU, GB Color. Wow, that would be fun. Because I could easily afford to buy a Game Boy Color and actually own the real hardware. It doesn't take up any space. Do you know what I mean? And I've heard about people buying old carts and actually flashing with their own game onto an existing cartridge. So that's a bunch of fun times to be had there. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this game and just port it to C64, MSX, the lot. Even Amiga. We'll get, I'll do an upgraded version for the Amiga eventually. I mean, that's probably in like 5 years or so. Okay, so that would be a big port job for me, moving my code to Game Boy. I'm going to bear that in mind and try and avoid using IX now where I can. I mean, of course, I'm coding for the Spectrum right now, so I'm going to use all the tools at my fingertips. Okay. I kind of think it might be easier than you think for me to do that, because I've been almost separating it all purposely. Like, all the drawer is definitely in its own routine, at least. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I'll learn that stuff when I try and do it. Because my first port, in inverted commas, will be I'll just have a copy of this code on my screen, and then I'll write like an MSX version, and I'll just copy and paste it in and then hack it together. But yeah, ZX81 mods. I run out of memory on this machine, let alone that. Isn't that 4K? I'd be dead within milliseconds. I'd be able to get Spikie running around on the screen, and then I'd run out of memory. I think I could make a game for ZX81, but I'd have to like have hardly any graphics. It'd be like very small graphics. Okay, it's going to be really interesting finding all this stuff out. And by the time I've learned all that, I'll be on my way to not being a novice anymore. That's the dream. But at the moment, I still need the help from the likes of you guys almost every day. But that's fine. I love it. I want to try and see how many flags I get here just before I go, so we can work out roughly where it ends. I'll slow them down in a minute as well. That looks like more than 10. 12. Spiky just being out. You'll help me with Game Boy as well, thank you, man. Of course, I'll be reading up before I just jump into Game Boy. I won't just literally start live. I will read a lot of books and stuff on it first. But there's only so much theory you can do in there. Then you've got to start writing some code and trying it out. Are we going to get 12? Do you know what? I think we probably will with them there. Like that. No, we don't. Okay. Much investigation for me then. Seems somewhere quite near that number. is where it stops. You're just reading out names of machines now. I'm really keen on all the ones mentioned. I'm really keen on Game Boy and Game Boy Color, MSX, and C64. Plus, add the NES in there eventually. I've actually already created a NES sprite drawing. I created a routine that drew sprites to the screen on the NES. It was really easy as well. It took me, I copy and pasted someone else's code mainly, but it was like only about 25 lines of code. Yeah, it was most interesting. But then I jumped straight into Speckie and got loads of help from, I think it's spectrumcomputing.com or whatever they're called. And I was away. Right, I'm gonna have to get going, guys. It's getting late now as well. I can't think of anything to fix this right now. My brain literally stopped working. I much appreciate all the chat. Definitely them helping pointers there. That was amazing. Just all of it. I love it all. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I've got my day off. Hopefully some of you are about in the day because I'm going to stream in the day, my usual time. Ignore what it says on my calendar right now because I'm not feeling right at my best. But sometime in the mid-afternoon, I'll be online. I look forward to speaking to you all soon. Have a good night, guys. I'm off.